Generally, there are no term limits for general secretaries of the Chinese Communist Party, but in recent decades, the norm has been for leaders to step down willingly after 2 5-year terms. But it looks like Xi does not intend to step down. He consolidated power after taking office in 2012. He eliminated political rivals through a so-called anti-corruption campaign. If he gets a 3rd term as head of the party, he will be in prime position to drive his policy agenda even further. Domestically, this could mean things like expanding the party's reach in Chinese society, but globally, it could mean boosting China's influence and power projection abroad. And this may include expanding China's police presence overseas. Even as we speak right now, we're already seeing glimpses of how Beijing is extending its police presence. This is happening in the Solomon Islands. And here's how China is developing its police presence. Instead of sending its own Chinese police there, Beijing is training the Solomon Islands police with Chinese characteristics. 32 Solomon Islands officers will be sent to China for training and for so-called a better understanding of Chinese culture. The officers will stay in the country for 1 month. You might remember the Solomon Islands from earlier this year when it signed a pact with China that garnered concern from the U.S. The pact said that China can send Chinese forces to the country to, quote, protect the safety of Chinese personnel and projects. The concern here was that China could send troops to the Solomon Islands and establish a permanent military base there. But as a country, you have to ask, do you really want the Chinese Communist Party to train your police officers? I mean, just look to the Hong Kong protests. Look at the 1989 Tiananmen Square massacre. Now, let me ask you, do you want this kind of policing where you live? Well, this may be in the realm of possibility because Beijing has reportedly opened hundreds of police stations outside of China. That's including 1 in New York City and 3 in Canada. Right now, the purpose of these Chinese police stations, of course, is not to stop people at gunpoint. But here's Frank Gaffney explaining what these Chinese police stations do.
In practice, what they are, evidently, is, as frankly one would expect from the Chinese Communist Party, instruments of reaching out and not just touching, but garroting individuals that they seek to either, extricate from wherever they may be and return home to face prosecution there for some cause, or perhaps to force them to engage in, who knows, espionage, recruitment, sabotage, any number of other things, I would imagine.